welcome back to another episode of PHT TV. Today, Eric Smith from Fidelity Imports is joining us again to speak a bit more on the technical aspects of Paducah Home Theater's UK-based products. Today, we're going to talk to you about Q Acoustics. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good to be back. Yeah, we're really happy to have Q Acoustics. If you don't know, again, Q started in the 80s. And they initially started as direct-to-consumer only. But as they started to build higher-end speakers, they started to realize that, hey, we could use a little help because, you can get a lot of information out directly online, but hey, having a good retail base can very much help, especially with the higher-end products and with the ability to do some demonstrations. So we're pretty pleased to have Q.
Now, when I did the visit to Paducah Home Theater, my last visit, I did see a couple of them, but I still don't think I've heard any of the Q Acoustic stuff. So I'm pretty excited to get on board with that as well. Now, a little bit later in the season, we are going to dive into some of the bookshelves. We're going to dive into some of the towers. And again, just wanted to cover a couple of the specs and talk to Eric here and see what he had to say about the systems. And how did Fidelity Imports acquire selling Q Acoustics? What was it that stood out to you about Q?
So Q Acoustics, there's a parent company called Armor, and they do several lines. They do gold ring cartridges, they do multi-zero stats, and Q is the big one for us. Again, it's just a great speaker line. And especially when we first started, it was just the concept series. So we just had the upper level, and it took us a little bit of convincing Q to let us do the 3000i series. And of course, Corey has access to all the lines. So whatever price point a customer is at, whether it's just a entry level 3010i, or if they want to go all the way up to the concept 500, it's available.
And we are going to cover all of those in videos. We're going to cover all those in videos. So you guys will see more on this topic a little bit later. What is the difference in the tiers, starting with the 30 going all the way up to the 3010 going up to the 3090? And what's the difference between the 3000 and the concept series?
There's three levels of Q Acoustic speakers. So there's the flagship, the concept 500, and 300 is the bookshelf version. Then there's the concept 50 and the concept 30, so that's going to be the mid-level of speakers. And then there's the entry-level 3000i series, and that'll be a full range of a couple different bookshelves and centers and all of that as well. But so let's talk a little bit about the flagship and what makes them special. So Q, they really want to make sure that the cabinet is not part of the problem. So they don't want the cabinet to resonate or vibrate or actually make sound. They want to make sure that the sound comes just from the drivers themselves. So they have a technology they call gel core. Sandwiched in between the MDF is a layer of gel, basically, and that will keep resonance out of the cabinet. Now, when you go to the flagship, the 500 and 300, there's actually two layers of it. So you have MDF, gel core, MDF, gel core, MDF. So that keeps the cabinet very, very well anti-resonant. Drivers themselves are acoustically decoupled from the cabinet itself. So as they vibrate, they don't make the cabinet vibrate. The cabinet itself is very well braced. So that is a big thing they do. When you go to the concept 50, concept 30, there's only a single layer of gel core versus two layers. But again, the drivers are decoupled from the cabinet. And on the bookshelf, both the 300 and the 30s, the plate that the stand mounts to, they actually bolt to a plate that's acoustically separated from the cabinet itself. So there's just no vibrations. So those drivers are basically in space, creating sound, give you, great imaging, great depth, great sound reproduction. With the entry level at the price points, you can't do that type of technology, but you do have great internal bracing, so the cabinet, as best it can, does not resonate. And the driver components are fantastic as well. So again, all three lines are highly regarded, highly rated. This year, for example, the Concept 50 went crazy with reviews. I mean, it was the desert island speaker by some reviews. It was product of the year by many other reviews. So they really do know what they're doing. And with the Concept 500, which has been out for a couple of years, that was product of the year for many companies years ago. But it's still a fantastic speaker.
Now, when we discussed a couple other brands that we talked about, they are really, really well reviewed in the UK, but we're just starting to see them in the US. With Q Acoustics, I feel like they're a little bit more known in the US than the other companies.
Yeah, so when you look at the reviews, there are so many reviews on Q Acoustic speakers in the US. Just whatever your search engine is, go ahead and type it, and they will come out of the woodwork. And it doesn't matter if it's the 3000i series or the Concept series. The reviews are always positive, absolutely always. One of the things I like to mention is when reviewers talk about the sonic signature of a Q Acoustic speaker, it's almost always talking about being a neutral speaker. So it's one of those speakers that doesn't add anything to the music. So it's just going to reproduce what was originally there. It's not super bass heavy. It's not super bright. It's not, it just plays music. Now, some people prefer a speaker with, more energy and more excitement. Great, that speaker. But if you're looking for that speaker that's just going to give you a good audio reproduction, Q is very good at that. And one of the nice things about being that way is they're a forgiving speaker. So if you've got some recordings that aren't recorded audio file quality, you put on a speaker that's super detailed, you're like, I can tell that recording's not all that great. One of the nice things about Q is you can throw anything at these speakers and it always sounds great.
And being neutral and very flat to a degree, they probably do pretty well in the studio environment or in kind of the reference environment as well in that aspect, correct?
Sure.
You have a lot of engineers and everything using them at all, or are they primarily focused on home?
Yeah, it's primarily focused on home. I'm sure some people use these as monitors in whatever system they have, but really it comes down to these were designed specifically to go in someone's home and fill a room with just pleasant sound.
Okay. The pleasantness really surprised me because, I've heard, this probably sounds cheesy if I try to explain, but I've heard speakers that are heavily colored, heavy bass and lots of coloration on them, especially low treble. Some of the older clips comes to mind. Some are even worse. So Serwin Vega is going to boost their bass to be obnoxious. On the other side of that, there's stuff that's excessively flat. The THX from Klipsch or the James loudspeakers or things like that. Some people think it sounds boring from music. So these, with those flat speakers, a lot of times they're kind of fatiguing. Something around 1 to 2 kilohertz just doesn't agree with my ears sometimes, but especially in a reflective environment. But yeah, these just seem to be very pleasant. They just sound right. They don't sound overly colored, but they also don't sound boring. So I think they hit the mama bear sweet spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they do really ride that fine line between being, just that super accurate monitor and then that, super exciting speaker. So it's a speaker that, it doesn't matter what style of music you play, what quality the recording is. Whenever you come home and you click the power button, it's always like, oh yeah, now I know why I bought these. These are great.
No, we talked a bit about the cabinet bracing and the cabinet itself, but we didn't touch on drivers very much. What's the difference in the drivers throughout the series?
So they all use similar drivers, so size, materials, soft dome tweeters. But as you move up the line, you're just going to be able to get higher quality drivers. So you're going to see better magnet structures. You're going to see, instead of stamped, you'll have cast baskets, better windings, longer throw, so you can get a little bit better bass reproduction out of the same size driver. So as far as the technology goes, it's just, as you move up the line, you just get higher quality versions of a soft dome tweeter and a 5 or 6 inch driver, depending on the speaker.
What color options are available? What veneer options are available?
So in the 3000 series, you've got black, you've got a gray, white, a walnut. And then when you go to the concept series, those look a little bit different. So they're not like a wood, wrap or vinyl wrap. They are very smooth, very polished, very modern. The Concept 50 and 30s, you can get those in black and white and a silver. And in the Concept 500 series, you get kind of a two-tone. So there's black with a rosewood, which will be like the back quarter of the speaker. And then you have white with an oak. So you've got some contrasting finishes on there. So they're gorgeous speakers, very, very modern looking.
Yeah, for sure. I really like the modern appearance. And I think in the US, I don't feel like the white is as popular, but that's got to be one of my favorite color schemes available. Looking at pictures, the white is beautiful.
Yeah, typically.
Seems like Corey agrees.
Yeah, I've got the white, and I just sold a pair of whites yesterday. So yeah, people like them. They're white in general is starting to. I mean, I'm getting some questions on white for listen, so it's starting to catch on. So.
Yeah, still number one color of speakers in the US is black. It's safe, I guess you could say. And yeah, we are seeing a significant uptick in demand for white. And Q is probably one of the speakers that's the most demand for white. I think because their finishes are quite good.
Yeah, they definitely look good. Now we've talked a little bit about the bookshelves, the towers, the different tiers and everything like that. But I do have we're going to go over a little bit on the Q B12 sub later. Can you tell us a little bit about the subs offered?
Sure. With all of the Qs, with the 3000i series and the Concept 50 and 30, there's also matching centers and subs. So you can do home theater with these as well. But you asked about the B12. So the B12 is a 12-inch subwoofer. It's a cube, and it uses Q's technology. So they want to have a cabinet that doesn't resonate. So obviously you've got a big driver in there. You don't want that thing hopping around the floor. And it comes in a couple different finishes. So you can do a matte white or black, or you can do a gloss black or white as well. So it's basically the same driver. And it's a powered subwoofer. It has everything you would expect. You plug it in the wall, run your level in, and you've got volume and frequency response. So it's pretty easy to set up, just like most subs. But it uses Q's technology. So good quality amp, good quality driver, and a cabinet that doesn't resonate.
All right. And the centers, how many different center options are available for the different tiers?
So there's a center for the 3000i series, and then there's a Concept 90 center, which matches specifically with the Concept 50 and 30, but will work very well with the Concept 500 and 300 as well.
Gotcha. Now, Corey, we did a while ago, you did a video on VStock. I know you've been selling VStock Q Acoustics for some time. Do you still have a lot of the Q Acoustics VStock as well as new leftover?
Yeah, it took a while for it to get started. I don't know if people were watching my eBay feedback or what, but it's starting to catch on. I mean, we're selling them regularly. We sell at least a pair a day. So typically, at least. Yeah, we just got another big shipment in. So we've gotten, right this moment, we've got most products in VStock. We just got several of the smaller, oh goodness, I done forgot the name of it. It's not the, just got a big,
3060.
yeah, we just got a bunch of those in. So but yeah, the bookshelves have been very popular, especially the most people get the 3020i. I was surprised about that. I figured since they were getting a deal on B stock, they'd get the bigger ones. But yeah, the 3020i is just extremely popular.
So if you guys are looking to get into Q Acoustics and you're looking for a lower tier price point or something, the VStocks are available as well. We have not yet talked about price point though. Do you have, Eric, do you by chance have, or Eric or Corey, do you have price points available for the Q Acoustic lines
Sure, I can give you.
that you'd want to discuss?
Yeah, I can give you retail price points. So if you look, let's start with the flagship. So the Concept 500.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at the Concept 500, retail on these is $7,000 a pair. The bookshelf versions, the Concept 300s, 5,000. That includes the stand. So when we sell a set of those speakers, we think that stand that's acoustically isolated, we think that's a value. So that's part of the package. The Concept 50s, which are the floor standards, are 3,000. The Concept 30s, the bookshelves, 1,300. That's not including the stand, but you can get the FS75 stands to go with those. When you look at the center channel, the Concept 90, that's $1,000. The B12 subwoofers in gloss finishes, so they would match the Concept, you're looking at about $1,000 for those as well. When you go to the stands, I should probably tell you the price of the stands as well. So those are $500 for the stands for the Concept 30s. So when you then go to the 3000i series, the floor standard, the 3050, that's $1,100 a pair. There's three different versions of the bookshelf. So there's the 3030i, the 3020i, the 3010i, basically larger drivers to give you a wider frequency response. So the 3030s at $550 a pair, $450 a pair for the 320s, and $330 a pair for the 3010s. The matching center is the 3090, and that is $289.
Okay.
And matte finishes of the QB12 are $750.
Okay, so another series where we have a wide array to meet any kind of budget there is
Yes.
available. You guys can get into these. I think moving forward, what I'm going to do is I do have quite a few of these, like the 3010s, 3020s, 3030s. I do have these in the studio ready to unbox, ready to review, ready to listen to. So I might do some compares on these guys too, if anybody wants to see those. Let us know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Eric, Corey, did you have anything else on Q that you wanted to?
I would like to make a point. So as I mentioned at
Right.
the very beginning, Q started as a direct-to-consumer company. So it's only been very recently that you've been able to go and listen to a pair of the 3000i series. So they've just been selling on word of mouth by how good the reviews are. Corey has the ability to let you listen to them before you buy. So that is very cool. So if you are in the area, absolutely go and take a listen to them.
For sure, and not just those. Corey has pretty much everything in that showroom. You can go listen to those. We've discussed the Acoustic Energy in the past. We've discussed the English Stereo 21C. He's got all of this in stock at the showroom. So stop by, listen to all this, and see what's best for you. See what's best for your home. So I think that's going to be about all we have for you today, guys. Thank you for joining us. Going forward, I'm going to unbox all these speakers. I'm going to unbox the 3000 series. I'm going to unbox some center channels. I'm going to unbox the sub, the Concept 50. It's going to be some fun going forward on Q Acoustics. Thank you so much for joining us, Eric. It's been a pleasure as usual.
It's always great to be back.
And I think that's going to be it. So please leave a comment below if you guys have any questions. I do have Eric's contact information. You guys can get a hold of me or Corey through the comments, and we can ask him questions if we don't know the answers. Again, we are here to help. So please ask us any questions you may have. Let us know what you guys think of the videos, and we're moving forward to some unboxing and some reviews next. So we'll see you again next week for another episode of PHT TV.